Good. And the last question from the quiz will be knowledge related to professional translation practice, the work market, types of translation briefs, target audiences, etc. Pause the video and think about the answer from the options below and select the one that you think is the proper answer. Well, if you chose C, knowledge of translations of competence, you were right. Knowledge of translations of competence for translators includes knowledge related to the profession in general and matters, issues that translators need to know in order to pursue successfully a career in the translation or language services markets according to the Pacta model. Well, this is the end of this mini lecture on translation competence. By way of conclusion, let me just point out a few ideas. The Pacta model for translation competence and translations of competences has been selected in this case as the backbone, as the foundation, where upon the structure, the curricular, the structure, design, the assessments, the activities and assignments rest for my translation training initiatives. I feel it is an excellent foundation, although it might not be perfect from the point of view of theoretical analysis, or some scholars might object to certain aspects of the model. I think it's the most useful model for translation competence that I've been able to find, identify and apply to my training of translators. I think it's also useful for you as students and translation trainees to keep handy this model, because in that model you'll be able to recall, to review the different translations of competences or elements of what translators do, what translators need to know in order to work on your self-improvement. And you can actually refer back to this not only in a training setting as you learn and become proficient in translation and eventually graduate, and if you decide to do so, move on to get or obtain your first placement as an intern, or find your first job or in the language industry. But I think it would be useful to refer back to these notions and this competence model so that you can design activities, you can design tasks for your own improvement and your own continuing learning towards mastery of this very difficult but fascinating activity we call translation. You will be able to look at, for instance, this week I'm going to be working on my linguistic or bilingual competence. So I'm going to be reviewing grammar, I'm going to set up a goal of learning 10 new technical terms in my field of specialization, which I admit might straddle a little bit the extra-linguistic competence as well. Or you may decide to work on your strategic or instrumental competence, analyzing the translation process and reminding yourself of the different types of translation problems there are by looking at your past translations. Or you may choose to work on honing your business skills if you, for instance, are a freelance translator and you decide to do this. You can look at the competence of knowledge of the translation industry and work at how you look at ways you can improve in your knowledge of the industry and the different aspects of running a translation business. So I think leaving examples aside, I think it's an excellent, this translation model, the competence model, it will be useful for continuing improvement throughout your life your professional life as a translator as well. So remember during your courses with me that we will always fall back to this as the translation competence model as one of the pillars of our translation training. And everything we do in the semester, every assignment that we assign and complete, any task we are working on leads back to the ultimate aim of building translation competence and every translation competence. These are some of the references that you can find. I think definitely Amparo Talabir's book, published in 2017 by John Benjamins, can be accessed in the library. But you can certainly find them in other outlets. Thank you for your time in this lecture, and I hope it was useful to you.